Okay, I'm going to start making a little video on percentage of amounts. I'm going to go over the questions we did before, and I'm going to set a few others, and then I'm going to allow you time to pause the video and have a go at the question, and then see the answer after you've unpaused the video. So let's start off by just looking at these questions that we've done already. If we just look at the first one, to start off with and break that one down slowly, we'll be able to see how we did this. This is for the non-calculated paper, so we have to work out how to do this without a calculator. So we've got 77.5%. Let me actually just move this down here so we can work with it a bit better and maybe zoom in. So 77.5% of 700. So 77.5% is just the same as 0.775. That's what the percentage is in a decimal. You just divide it by 100, turn it back into a percentage. You times it by 100. So 77.5% of 700 would be 0.775 times 700. Right. Now, that's what you would do on a calculator. If we were going to work this out of 700, then using in a non-calculator way, using just pen and paper, we wanted to do it in terms of 10%, because it's always easy to do 10% of a number. 10% of 700 is 70. We're happy with that. So what you want to do is take the percentage and chop that up into like 10% or a part of 10%, usually half or a quarter of 10%. So if we've got, so in other words, 77.5% is equal to 7 times 10%. So we know 10% is 70, so we just do that times 70 times 7 to get 70%. But then you've got to do plus 7.5. In fact, let me break it down even slower than that. So 77.5% is 70% plus 7.5%. Okay, and 70% is 7 times 10%. So now we've got our 10%. Let's put that as green. And then we're going to do plus. And then 7.5%, well, it's a less than one lot of 10%, isn't it? So we could do, we could, the way that I would say, you could do a number of ways. You could just jump straight away, realize that it's 3/4 of 10%. Okay. But that's exactly the same, really, or a roundabout way of saying the same thing as 3 times 10% over 4. Oops. So let's make that green because we've got our 10% now. So that's the first stage of doing these problems. Again, I'm doing it quite slowly here. But once you get the hang of it, you'll do some of these stages in your head. In fact, you might do both of these stages in your head and just jump to this next stage that I'm going to do. If 10% of 700 is 70, then you're going to do 7 times 10%, which is 70. So let's just damn it. Let's turn that 70 green so we realise it's the same as that 10% there. And then do 3 times, and again I'm just going to steal, I keep moving it, I want to just grab it. 3 times 70 over 4. Okay, so 7 times, well, we know 7 times 7 is 49, I believe. My times table's terrible nowadays, but I think it's 49. Yeah, it is 49. I think I'll put a calculator on the screen so you can see me working this out as well. And 3 times 7 is 38. It's 21. 21. So 3 times 7. Again, we have to do this in our head, so we just need to know our times table. So 21 and over 4. How do we do these kind of numbers in our head? Well, 21, again, I'm doing all this really slowly. Eventually, you start to do these things in your head. As a side calculation, what is 21 over 4? Well, 21 over 4, in my head, this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to do 20 over 4 plus 1 over 4. I know that 20 over 4 is 5, and I know that 1 over 4 is 0.25. So together, it's going to be 5.25. So that's going to be 490 plus 5.25, which will be 495.25. So hopefully, when I do 0.775 times 700, I should get this. 0.775 times 700. Oh, what did I do? Okay, let's just see what I've done. It looks like what I've done here. Look, I've done 3 times 70, and I just did in my head 3 times 7, and then I forgot to add the 0 at the end, didn't I? So 40, and then 200. So it's going to be 210 divided by 3 times 70 is 210, not 21, divided by 4. So that's just going to be, well, it's just going to be this times 10, isn't it? 52.5. So yeah, you can. Is that going to work? Yeah. So okay, that does actually make sense. So yeah. So 490 plus 52.5. So adding 490. So again, let's just show the stages in my head. So I'm adding the 50 first, then I'm going to add the 2.5 later. This is what I'm doing in my head. I'm doing 490 plus. Actually, what I'm going to show all the stages. I'm doing that in my head. But then the next stage in my head that I'm going to do is split the 50 into 10 and 40, because the 10 would make up the 490. So I could in fact just stick that straight on there. Again, many of these stages I'm going to be doing in my head. Plus 40 plus 2.5, and now you can see it's going to be 542.5. Right, there you go. So that's how you would that's how we'll do it. So let's just look at those stages step by step. I got the percentage 77.5%, and then I chopped it up into terms of 10%. So that's this stage here. Let me get a highlighter so we can show you which is the stage where I chopped up the percentage. So these bits here. At this point here, I've not actually identified the number yet. At some point, you have to do these stages in the same order, but either before the stage or just after the stage, I want to know what is 10% of the number that I'm trying to work out, which is 70, and then I sub in this in terms of, instead of where I've written 10%. Okay, so that's how I did that first question. So let's have a go at another question. I'm not sure if we've done these ones already. I think we did. Yeah, we did. So we'll do let's just make that a bit big. Let's just zoom in. Let's do that. So we'll do 49%. Well, let's start off a bit easier. 47.5% of 53. Okay, so just pause the video and have a go at that. If you need to go back over my previous stages, do that as well. But as soon as I'm going to go over this one right after this sentence. Okay, so one of the stages, and again, I guess we've got three main stages, and the first two doesn't matter which order you do them in. But let's just say the first stage is find 10% of the number in question. So 10% of 53 is 5.3. So 10% equals 5.3. I'm going to do that in green because I was using green to show what 10% was a bit earlier on. Stage 2. Mirror thinks I want to do a number thing when I do that. Next stage is separate. The percentage into what should I say? Groups of 10%. In this stage, some of these stages could be done. These first two stages could be done in your head eventually. Hang on. Right. The first two stages could be done in your head eventually, but let's just do it on paper on here for now, so we can just see how I did it. I take the 47% and I chop it up into different lots of 10%. So 47.5%. First of all, I'm going to chop it into the 40% because I can see that that's going to be 4 times 10%, and I'm going to add the remainder, which is 7.5%. And then I'm going to say, well, 40% is just 4 times 10%. So now I've got my 10%. And then I'm going to add the 7.5%. I'm going to actually shortcut this bit here. We did it earlier on. It was 3/4 of 10%. That was what I did earlier on in the video. So I can say 3 times 10% over 4. Now these 10%, which I am highlighting, again, you can do this in your head, are going to be replaced by what I worked out 10% to be. So 4 times, I'm actually going to just grab that number from here and copy it over there, plus 3 times, let's just grab this one now, over 4. And again, this depends on how good your mental arithmetic is. Could you add this up in your head? I'm going to show what I would do in my head. What is 4? So I can do as a side calculation, 4 times 5.3. Well, I'm going to be doing 4 times 5 plus 4 times 0.3. Some of you will know the way of doing it, jotting it down there. It's been a while since I've done that, so I've worked out I do this way, and if you're more likely familiar with that other way anyway, so I'm going to just use this way of doing things as an alternative. Chopping up the numbers, it's a chunking method. So 4 times 5 is 20. 4 times 1.2. Sorry, 4 times, I just gave you the answer. 4 times 0.3 is 1.2. And that's going to be 21.2. So we go 21.2 is that bit there. Next we have to do 5.3. Let's do that as a side calculation again. I'm going to group that and shrink it. So now we're going to do 5.3 over 4, and then we need to times it by 3 afterwards. So 5.3 divided by 4. Well, that's going to be the same as 5 over 4 plus 0.3 over 4. Okay, so what's 5 over 4? Well, I'm going to really break this down so you can see what I'm doing. So 5 over 4 is going to be 4 over 4 plus 1 over 4. And then you got the original 0.3 over 4. Let's do that one now. 0.3 over 4 is the same as 3 over 4 times 10. So 3 over 4 is 0.75. So, sorry, divided by 10. So this is going to be 0.075. And then you got 4 over 4 is 1. This is 0.25. Then you're going to add this to 0.075. Okay. Okay, and if you just go through the similar stages as what I did before, you'll end up with 1.325 to get that one. And that was dividing it by 4, wasn't it? So then you're going to times that. So, whoops, that's, you're going to, what is 1.325 times 3? I'm just going to do this on the calculator. But you're going to use the same sort of method as what you did before. 3.975. And you're going to add that to this. Okay. So, and I'm just going to do that on the calculator as well. The main thing I want to show you are the stages and the chunking method. I won't video every single thing, every single step that I do. So, and then you get up with 25.175. And when you put 0.475 times 53, you get 25.175. So we've got the right one there. So you can actually set your own problems in this way. The main stage is what was it? The first stage was find 10% of the number. Second stage was chop it into lots of 10%. And this is the third stage, wasn't it? And this is to sub in this into where 10% is, and then it's just a matter of mental arithmetic after that. The pen and paper method. So I was going to do another one actually. I was going to do 49.5%. I said, and I refrained from doing that. So let's just, how do we chop that up? Well, we got the 40% plus the 9.5%. Now, 40 is just going to be 4 lots of 10%. What about the 9.5%? Well, the 9.5% is going to be, well, you could do this a number of ways. You could say it's 9.5%. It's the same as 7. What would I do? I think I would just do maybe 2.5% plus 7%. And I'll say 7% is equal to 7 times 1%. I'm not sure if you get anything quite so laborious as this. If you know what, and you take any number now, and as long as you can work out 1% just as easily as you can work out 10%. So 496. 10% of 496 is equal to 49.6, and 1% would be equal to 4.96. So you can do this with pretty much any number, I think. It's just that the stages end up becoming a lot more laborious, but it can be done. And those are the stages and how to do it. So I'm going to stop the video there. And put that in the whiteboard. So I hope it's of use.